Okay, what's up, y'all? It's Otaku Tavern back at you with another video. And today we're going to be doing a all Resident Evil games tier list. This one looks like this one may be a bit difficult, but we'll. I've played almost every one of these. There's very few that I've not played, but yeah, we'll get into this. So the first one obviously is the very first classic Resident Evil, right? This one was pretty good. It's nowhere near my favorite. I will say that. I would honestly say, not just because of graphic wise, but like it's just I feel like I feel like it just could have been better. I don't know. It's really good though. I would honestly put this in good tier, honestly. Okay, and then we got just Resident Evil, which is technically just I guess a remake of Resident Evil One, or a remaster, whatever you want to call it. So this game here I have on PlayStation. I think it's really fun. I really like it. I know like some people didn't really care for it, but honestly, I would put this one also in good tier. I think the gameplay is great, the story's great, characters great, all that. So good tier it goes. Well, okay. And then the next one is classic Resident Evil 2. Um, should I say anything about this? I mean, this game is obviously one of the goats. Resident Evil 2 remake. This one here is really, really, really good. Like, I do not have any complaints whatsoever about this. I know some people did, but honestly, I really like it. I still play it to this day, and it's a very fun game. I would say GOAT tier it goes. Okay, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. This one is also a good classic as well. Yet again, GOAT tier again. I'm not really going to spend too much time on that. Resident Evil 3 Remake. Okay, I would say Resident Evil 3 Remake is. I know a lot of people would probably disagree with me, but I think this one's really good. I do see people's point though, like there was a lot of cut content, and all that, and I get it. But like I enjoyed it for what it was. I enjoy it for what it is, and still play this one too. So, in my personal opinion, I would say it goes in GOAT tier. I mean, you can disagree with that if you want, but I really like it. Um, Resident Evil Code Veronica. This one's all right. I mean, I wouldn't say it's trash. I would say that it's I feel like it could have been better. I'm hoping for a Code Veronica remake, honestly. I would put this in good tier, honestly. I think the way Claire looks in this is really, really good, but not as good as like the remake versions or nothing. So I would put this in the good tier. Okay, Resident Evil Zero. Actually, this is actually one of my many favorite Resident Evil games. I really like this one a lot. You can play as Rebecca Chambers in this one, and I don't know. I really like it. It's go back to the old roots. You had to have these little things to save, and just stuff like that. And I don't know. I really liked it. So I would honestly put this one in good tier. And then Resident Evil 4 for just like the PlayStation 2. I think this was on the GameCube as well. This one here is good. It's I will say this. I think the Resident Evil 4 remake is way better. Um, but like this one here as a whole, I think it was really creepy, really really interesting. The story was interesting. A lot of the enemies were interesting. But I would not say this goes in the GOAT tier like a lot of people say. I feel like this one is kind of a little bit overhyped. I would honestly put the standard Resident Evil 4 in good tier. You can disagree with that if you like. Resident Evil 4 Remake. Now, this is where things really, really escalate. So, this game here is just perfect. I think it's perfect. I think, I do not have one single complaint about the Resident Evil 4 remake. I think that I really like I really like Ashley in the game. Like I mentioned in another video before, I said I actually watch the woman who she's modeled after. I watch her YouTube channel all the time, and I don't know. I think the story is great. I think really everything about it is great. I mean, I do not have a single complaint out of this. So goat tier it goes. And then Resident Evil 5 is next. I know this one got mixed reviews to a degree, but like I don't really understand that because Resident Evil 5 is a very good game. Like, I really liked the whole aspect with Sheva, Chris and all that. I don't know, I just really like that. And it was different. It was a different vibe. I think it was really really good. I mean, I don't really have a complaint about Resident Evil 5. There's like even like if you're playing with a friend on co-op, you can do like this infinite ammo glitch and stuff like that. And it was just I don't know, it's just really fun. I like playing it. So goat tier this one goes as well. Resident Evil Revelations 1. Okay, this game is extremely good. I really like the Revelation series. I really wish there would be a Revelations 3, but I probably won't get that. Anyway, so honestly, this takes place on like a ship and stuff. In the beginning and all that, and it's a really good game. It's kind of creepy though, like being on a ship with that. But like the creatures in this game honestly are top notch. Like I really like the way that they look. Revelations 1 honestly goes in good tier. Okay, Resident Evil 6. Now I'm probably going to ruffle a few feathers here, I guess, with this, but I know a lot of people didn't really care for this one. So to say, I mean, I don't understand that. I mean, no is not the best one, but like, I think Resident Evil 6 is pretty good. I don't think, that it's garbage like a lot of other people play, or say, sorry. And, it's just, I don't know. I really like the fact that there was like multiple stories, and I do really like playing as Helena Harper, or Sherry or whatever, but yeah, honestly, I would put Resident Evil 6 in good tier. You can disagree with that all you like, but I mean, anyway, so Resident Evil Revelations 2, honestly, this game is absolutely perfect in my opinion. Um, this one took what Revelations 1 did and just made it 10 times better, in my opinion. Plus, you play as Claire in this one. And, this game here, I really like the other episodes, like the Natalia episode where you gotta like sneak around the monsters and stuff. I had a blast with that playing that the first time, and I still do. Like I love that. Like I honestly wish we could get more of that because it makes the game really all more the creepy, all more horrific. Instead of like having to shoot them, you have to sneak. And I don't know, I just really like that. So Resident Evil Revelations 2 goes in GOAT tier. These freaking allergies got me stuttering. Um, Resident Evil 7, I did not really care for this one, to be honest. I know a lot of people like this one. I like Mia, so to say. I like certain characters, but like, 7, I just really couldn't get into. I mean, I probably try to play it again, I guess, but like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to put it in trash tier for now because it just doesn't feel like a Resident Evil game to me. Um. Okay, so now we've got Resident Evil Village. Okay, so this is what I'm going to say about Resident Evil Village. It took what Resident Evil 7 did and made it way better. However, I was kind of fairly disappointed at the fact of starting on the main story that Lady D was not the final boss. And I felt like that section of the game probably should have been the end. Like, because they teased her all the time in the trailer, and I just felt like she should have been the final boss. It just made sense. But like, there's all this other stuff you do after it, and it's like after that, like after you beat Lady D, I feel like the story just kind of gets really sluggish. Like it's probably like worth one playthrough, but like me, like what I do is after I beat Lady D, I'm moving on to the DLC for the game that I'm fixing to talk about, the Shadows of Rose DLC. Now this DLC is perfect; it's flawless in my opinion. I really love this. I honestly would say that the DLC is the goat of this part of game, but like certain parts of the story, of just the main story, not so much. But honestly, I'll go ahead and put Resident Evil Village in the GOAT tier due to the fact of the Shadows of Rose DLC and the Lady D fight and stuff like that. So I would say that is the GOAT tier. Okay, Resident Evil Requiem. Um, I think that's GOAT. I'm not even going to say anything else. I'm currently playing that. And then Resident Evil Survivor, I have not played. I've not played Survivor 2. Resident Evil Dead Aim, I hated that game. Um, Resident Evil Gaiden, I've not played that. Resident Evil Outbreak, I've heard mixed reviews on these. I've not necessarily played them. I want to, but honestly, I've heard that they were good, but honestly, I'm going to have to put these in not played because I've not played them. Um, there are a few of these, like I said, I have not played. Resident Evil Corp, Umbrella Chronicles. Sorry, I got my words mixed up. Um, this one here, I would honestly say this is good. That's all I'm going to say. I kind of liked it. I liked it. I thought it was good. So I'm gonna do that. Resident Evil: The Dark Side Chronicles. I liked it. I mean, it's not the best, but I would honestly say it's good. And then this one here, the Resident Evil 3D Mercenaries. I've not played this one, but I've heard good things about it. Um, okay, now this one here, I remember this. I forget the name of it. But this game, I remember when this came out, it got a high return rate. Like there were so many copies of it in like the pawn shop, GameStop. Like nobody liked it that I knew of, and I didn't like it either. I don't know, I just really didn't like it, so I'm gonna put it in trash tier. Umbrella Corps is trash tier. I'm not even gonna even speak of that game. Resident Evil Resistance, in my opinion, I really like the aspect of this. I think it's way better than a lot of other games like this. Like Resident Evil Resistance, I think because it introduced like characters like Becca, Valerie. I really like these characters. Honestly, I would say that this is a goat game. I really like it. It's really fun. So yeah, goat it goes. And then Resident Evil RE verse. This game here was a disaster at launch, really. I mean, it had low player counts because everybody was wanting to play Resident Evil Resistance more, obviously. Um, that and the game just wasn't all that hyped up to be. Like, it actually shut down the servers already just within a few years later. So I'm going to put this in trash tier as well. So this is the finished tier list for the Resident Evil games tier list. Would you do this differently? Do you disagree with anything? Let me know down in the comments below, and like and subscribe if you like this type of content, and click the bell notification so that you do not miss a video. And I will see you all next time. Peace.